Welcome to Season 5 of the To Health With That podcast, where we break up big health topics like MTHFR into small bites. I'm your host, naturopathic Dr. Amy Newsel. This season, the spotlight is on you and all of the people like you who are living their lives every day with MTHFR. We're focusing on your stories, and I can't wait to hear them. This week, we're sharing a continuation of Tony's story. Tony's story starts with anxiety. He doesn't feel great, but his doctors say everything is, quote, normal.
I've done so much testing and I've done a lot of trying to understand. I think my next step is trying to whittle it down to manageable steps.
One of the things that I try to emphasize again and again and again is, do one thing at a time and give it time between that and doing the next thing, right? And if you can, track your symptoms so that you know what's actually working for you, because it's so common that, people will come to see me as a practitioner. They're like, I tried these 5 things in 5 days, right? And I don't know what's happening. So I just quit it all.
I think one of the things you learn as a highly sensitive person is to stay in control.
Yes.
Control your environment, control yourself. And so when being in this situation has really taught me how little control I have.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, now I just need to relax,
Yeah,
let it happen and, not get overwhelmed.
with health, and especially when we've had MTHFR for years and years and we're only starting to address it now, it's like you've got all of those years of stuff to deal with, right? And so it's not going to happen overnight.
It's like a rebirth almost when you find out you have MTHFR and you have the genes and things start to kind of make sense. You kind of almost have to kill the old person, all the bad habits, all, like overthinking, eating wrong. And you kind of have to start from ground zero and start building a lifestyle that kind of it fits, this new information. And like you said, though, you have to be patient with it because if you try to do it all overnight, you're going to fail.
So I would put money on you being the artist personality, which tends to have high serotonin, right? So they don't do well with anything that boosts serotonin.
I recently found out that I have a tumor. It looks like it's non-secreting. I have a follow-up with the doctor. But my worry about the folate, is some of the reading that I read was that it could feed the tumor.
Can I ask where the tumor is?
It's on my testicle.
Okay. So with anything like that, folate can increase any sort of cell reproduction or cell division. You said the folate on your lab test was actually either high or normal.
Yeah.
So you can wait on folate. That doesn't have to be part of the picture. So still focus on good food sources of natural folate. So things like dark green leafy vegetables, beans and pulses, citrus fruit, that sort of thing. Because those are all excellent food sources that'll give you a base of good nutrition without pushing that folate high, right?
Right.
Leave the folate out, but get those other cofactors in the background. You don't have to push folate, even though you have MTHFR, because honestly, if your numbers were already testing high, you've probably got a backlog in there anyway.
So taking out the folic acid be just enough to start leveling things off.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and getting those cofactors in too, like that riboflavin is a really key piece. Zinc is actually a really key piece. So getting some of those in there is going to start everything moving just in a more slow and manageable way. So you don't have that feeling of
Right. Like I want to jump out of my skin.
100%. Yeah. I've been there. It's not fun.
But you seem to be doing very well. And so it's nice to see someone who has been through a lot of this and is managing it.
It's going to be a process. It's going to take some time, and that's okay.
What do you think about the B12? I feel like it's helping me eliminate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I understand maybe waiting on the folate because of my situation.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think the B12 in small amount? But okay, here's my confusion. So I just had breakfast a little bit ago, and I checked my app, and it's basically saying I got my full dose of B12 for the day.
Yeah. You
Like,
did.
that's what
I
I'm
can
confused.
guarantee you did. So technically it did probably come in your mouth and it's in your stomach somewhere. But the problem is we absorb such a tiny amount of the B12 that we actually eat. Like we just don't have good absorption on B12 through the digestion, for whatever reason.
And then if you have SIBO on top of that,
Forget it. Yeah.
right.
But it's, so you maybe ate enough B12, but the amount you digest is going to be a tiny fraction of that, like 2 to 5%, right? So I think if the B12 feels helpful to you, if it feels helpful to your brain, to your body, go with it. Just don't push the high doses yet. Wait until you have some of the other cofactors like the riboflavin, like the zinc, like all of those nutrients in the underneath.
Gotcha.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. I think you're onto it. If I'm putting all this B12 in my body, but my body doesn't have what it needs to put it in the right places,
Yeah.
kind of wasting your money, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. One of the other things too with B12, so when B12 shuttles into your cells, it's actually pulled in by the mineral lithium. So not the prescription drug lithium, that's a whole different ball game. Right. But so lithium is supposed to be present in like the soil, in the ocean, in all of these places. But a lot of places that mass produce food, the soil is very depleted in lithium. And so lithium orotate, the mineral, can be very, very helpful in terms of getting that B12 into the cells and making it more active.
Lithium.
Orotate. So Orotate. I think that's right. Okay. I had to air write it to get the spelling. But it can be really, really helpful in terms of just making B12 levels more stable and kind of getting the good out of your B12.
Right. What are your thoughts as far as detoxing as you come off folic acid and, like you said, all these layers, crud,
Yeah.
and then you start introducing healthy lifestyle and food and take out the folic acid? Is there a protocol to help minimize, for someone even like me who was overseas and exposed to who knows what, you store some of that stuff,
Yes.
to come out.
So there is for MTHFR, and it's safe for MTHFR, but don't do it until you've got your background nutrition built up. It's not a good idea to jump straight into detox before you build up that nutrition because, again, you're going to get stuck in places. Give yourself a year to build up your nutrition first. I don't want you to jump into it and then feel terrible.
No, that's my biggest fear is I already feel like poo. Last thing I want to do is like try to excrete something and then it's too much.
Yeah. That's not good. And especially with SIBO, because with SIBO, your digestion has been through a lot. Like SIBO is that small intestine bacterial overgrowth where, you've got all this bacterial colony in there that's maybe not where it's supposed to be, and it's definitely out of control. And so those bacteria also secrete a lot of things into your system that you have to deal with. Your body has to metabolize them. Right. So, it's an extra layer there that you have to be a little bit more cautious maybe than average. So in a year, but not now.
No, it's great advice because we mentioned, I want it now. I want to feel better now.
Yeah.
And so for me to think of a year to plan for a year down the road, it's a little bit overwhelming, but worth it.
It's hard. It's hard to think of. I know. And it's, with health stuff, like you just want to feel better, right? You want it to be easy and just feel better. But this is something that's been a part of you since you were born, right? And right. For a lot of that time, you did feel good. So you can feel good again, right? We just need to get rid of some of that stuff that's filling up your bucket and, give your body the actual tools to process all of that, right? And processing it takes time.
I think this journey, that's kind of the biggest takeaway for me is I've watched my family deal with a lot of anxiety and depression and never really knowing, why, or, asking the question as to why. And I think folic acid is a big portion of that, eating out, fast food and stuff. And I worry that people who get cancer or, are dealing with really severe mental health issues, they're casually going and eating out and creating these health problems, so I would definitely encourage people to get that gene test and, eliminate this folic acid from their diet if needed. I have this tumor that may need to be operated on. And that one of the concerns I have with this gene mutation is going under. No, generally they don't use laughing gas for operations, but is there anything that you would recommend for people who are going to have surgery to look into before they have the surgery?
It's a great question. So with the laughing gas, I don't think they would use it for that particular surgery. It's more for dental procedures. So I don't think you have to worry about that. There is so far no interaction between the MTHFR gene and a known anesthetics. And I do keep track of this because it's a common question that comes up. So you're safe with all of the anesthesias, but I do like people to front load a little bit before having surgery in terms of the B vitamins, because the reason that the laughing gas is so detrimental for us is that it metabolizes all of a sudden basically your entire B12 reserve. So your body just burns through all of that B12. And if you're a little bit shaky to begin with, then that causes the problem. And then after the surgery, I don't recommend doing an extra high dose because your body will be washing out all of those toxins and kind of trying to process. So at that point, just gentle support. Things like, if you can sweat a bit, right? Sweating will get out some of the toxins. If you can have a hot bath or Epsom salts bath or, things like that will encourage gentle detox. That's great. But that's not the point to push the supplements. That's the point to just sit back and let your body deal with what's there.
Right. No, that's perfect. It's good to hear because going into that, and just having that little snip of the laughing gas, I'm like, well, is everything else going to be affected like that? So that's good to hear.
Yeah. The rest of the anesthetics, as far as the research exists today, are absolutely safe for MTHFR. There's no contraindication.
Okay, perfect. Then in terms of antibiotics, they want to treat my SIBO with metro, so I forget what it's called.
Metronidazole, probably?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Do people with MTHFR have to take into consider antibiotics? I know antibiotics in general are, the best.
So the way I understand SIBO, which is not my area of strength, but the way I understand SIBO is it's a longer term protocol with the antibiotics. I haven't seen anybody have problems with the antibiotics other than some die-off reactions, right? So as those bacteria are dying, they do release more things into your system. So there is some just die-off weirdness and discomfort and sometimes brain fog, sometimes things like that. And that's completely normal. It's just part of the process as they're being eliminated. I don't see the antibiotics as a problem for MTHFR. You just do have to do your due diligence on the back end to make sure that your flora are coming back and to eat healthy. But honestly, without the folic acid in your diet, it's going to be a lot easier to build a healthier flora environment anyway. And especially if you can get some of the, foods that are high in natural folate or things like beans and pulses like lentils and those things, and then dark green leafy vegetables. So if you do the antibiotic series and then, you're keeping that healthy diet and healthy background, you're getting lots of fiber to feed good bacteria. You're getting really high nutrient content. And then when you're ready, you can add back in a SIBO safe probiotic.
Okay. Great information. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I'm thrilled to hear your story, and I would love you to keep us posted, right? I'd love to hear in 3 months how things are going and, what changes you've seen, how you're doing with just kind of building that nutritional foundation and what you've discovered about yourself based on that artist kind of personality type. And, because it's really you're right there. You're the classic sort of lone wolf artist, hyper focus, high sensitivity. It's all there.
Right. Yeah. No, I think some great information here. I think your YouTube channel and your website are great resources. So I definitely appreciate that you put that out there for people.
Tony, thank you so much. And thank you for being brave and sharing your story. It's so helpful.
Definitely need to educate people on MTHFR for sure.
100%. 100%. So thank you so much. And keep me posted, please.
Will do.
Okay. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you so much for listening this week. If today's guest consented to share the full-length interview on YouTube, then you can find it on the channel at To Health With That, TOHEALTHWITHTHAT. If you would like to share your MTHFR story, please sign up on the scheduling link in the show notes. I would love to talk with you. Thank you for listening.